Ethan, thank you for coming and thank you for being with us. This is Cosmos Voice 9 today in our English version of the Cosmos Voice. So it's amazing to have you on our call. I think we will have a very interesting discussion today. I, of course, did a little bit of homework and I saw, what you do and actually even it became like like I thought, like, wow, this is very interesting topic even for myself, because we are also running a blockchain project. DAODISEO is in the space of real estate. It looks like what you do is very interesting even for other projects, right? But let's start with a short introduction. Yeah, you are in Berlin now, I think. So tell us a little bit what is happening there, and of course, for other people about you.
Oh, thank you very much for hosting me, and glad to be here. First of all, just if you haven't met me, I'm Ethan Frey, the founder of CosmWasm, father of CosmWasm. I also was the first employee dev, not founding dev at Cosmos. I worked on 2017 on Cosmos SDK, the first implementation of IBC, stuff like that. So I've been around here forever in the space, and basically just stopped about 2 years ago, took a sabbatical, and then got roped into a crazy new project. Right now I'm at Berlin Blockchain Week in Berlin, meeting lots of people, really excited about this and really seeing how the blockchain space is growing up. It is called WAVS, WAVS, no E, WAVS.xyz. Check it out if you want to. But so we're at WAVS XYZ. I want to go into it. That's my introduction. I'm here in a bar. If there's too much music in the background, let me know. I can try to move. But right now I'm in a bar, networking, Berlin Blockchain Week. Lots of cool projects, lots of cool builders. It's really a builder-heavy conferences all over the place. Very impressive people here. And we're doing lots of networking, trying to build an ecosystem and get the early builders on our project.
Thank you, Ethan. It's really incredible to have someone like you, with this level of experience in our call. I think there was a little bit about like a Layer Labs today as well. I understand that probably you would like to introduce a little bit, this part of your endeavor. I guess this is the site. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at that site. So we are rebranding, let's say. There is Layer Labs. Layer Labs is a new company. It is co-founded with me and Jake Hartnell. You might have known from Juno and DAO fame or infamy, as you want to. He's now creating a new cult around Waves, even new brands and new ideas. So yeah, I'm sure you can have him another time talk about the hyperstitioning stuff on here. In the meantime, Layer Labs exists. We're layered XYZ. This explains our kind of pitch. Waves is our product. So Layers like a company page. Waves XYZ is our product. We're building dev tools. So I worked on the Cosmos SDK, as I mentioned, IBC. I built CosmWasm, and now we're within Waves. Waves is basically, let's say, Cosmos SDK allowed you to build your own blockchain. CosmWasm allowed smart contract in a Cosmos blockchain. So we got the app chain thing. This is basically, we are building smart contracts, verifiably off-chain smart contracts. So you think of CosmWasm Unleashed. It is allowing you to build WASI components, WASM system interface components to access file system and networking, random numbers and other stuff on their LMs, GPUs, all kinds of crazy, powerful Web 2 technology, but run on multiple operators for getting verified on chain. We have examples of deterministic AI running on it right now, multi-chain bridges, and various other things we built on it as well. So we have built out basically our first versions. It's all based on stake from Ethereum. It's secured by EigenLayer restaking, which is $6 billion currently. That's a Cosmos Hub or even more of security we can get off of EigenLayer and dumping on this layer, which is as secure as any Cosmos blockchain, but not constrained to any limits. You can run huge gas things in parallel, all kinds of amazing things, and it settles on the blockchain. So it allows you to settle your work on the blockchain, but do the computation off chain. It's a bit abstract. We can dig into what we can build, but yeah, that's it basically. And we're using the newest stacks, WASD and WIT and all this new technology. So it's what I wish I had when they launched CosmWasm. It's super powerful, and it's really opening up to an app, and I'd love to dig into those apps. In the meantime, maybe we can move the website to Waves, the XYZ.
Yeah, so it's completely different website, you mean, or?
It's a completely different website.
So this is the new branding, I guess.
Yeah, ask Jacob the branding. I think Layers they said layer, cool, but there's layer 0 and layer 2s, layer 3s, and every layer, and eigenlayer, and this layer, and no one can. So, it sounds cool, but everyone does it. So Waves is our, our name. Waves is in surf waves, follow the waves. So it's cool. That's our name for this thing. I'll let the name people make it up. I'm not the best namer, but I'm down. I like Waves. So Waves XYZ, that's where we're at. And let me dig up. Maybe I can give you an example. What we can do. What we have is a thing that allows you to basically listen to triggers. Any event on any blockchain can trigger it. Then you do the processing off chain verifiably on any operators, and you settle it. They all sign it, get consensus. You basically then get aggregate signatures and write the aggregate signature on chain, which can be verified. So that allows you to basically then take any data anywhere, process it, and verify to use it input on chain. The simplest case in Oracle, right? Oracle, you have price feed. Oh, every 1 hour query this feed and write it on chain, or every time this event got emitted from this contract does it. So we don't have to change the contract. We can listen to any events emitted by any contract. We listen right now to any EVM chain, any Cosmos chain. Right now we can listen to. We're writing now only to EVM chains because we are based on the stake from EigenLayer and staking that stake. So we can write to multiple EVM chains currently. And again, we're running on testnets. So we do hope to add Cosmos support. It's not that hard. We had it before. And then we updated 5 versions and we just stopped managing it. So we have done it. We have a bunch of Cosmos devs, a bunch of Cosmosm devs here. When there's demand to actually have this written to a Cosmos chain, we're very, very happy to add it. But right now we're getting a lot of uptake from Ethereum, where they're really, really feeling the limits of what Ethereum can do and EVM can do, and they're really excited for more power. Cosmos already has so much power. A lot of people aren't that needing more power, but Ethereum land, they need a lot more power. And if Cosmos Con wants it, we're very, very happy to stick it on there. You basically have this meta chain that runs all this stuff off chain and then settles on multiple chains verifiably.
That sounds, Ethan, that sounds incredible. I must tell you that even though I am working for 25 years in technology and using technology for business, still in crypto, I am relatively new, of course, since 2018, so it's just a few years. So conceptually, it was very interesting, but let's try to kind of land it a little bit with more more common language. So for people who are not at that level. And my suggestion would be to use maybe let's use a particular case like a DAODISEO project. Let's say we are now running on Cosmos SDK as many of the chains, but we also have Cosmosm. And now we connected with DAO. So we are very happy because DAO was gentle to actually connect to our chain natively. So that's very nice. We can do now organizational structure definition, because in our project we have several sub-DAOs, some legal entities, different legal entities. So that organization structure can be defined in DAO. And of course, Cosmosm is allowing us to write contracts, smart contracts. So we will have some kind of application. But our business is about tokenized real estate development. So, we have we are owners of development project in Greece. This real business that is typically taking some years, to do, because you need to cover since very beginning of buying a plots, and then designing, and then permits, and then eventually financing, and then constructing. So typically it's taking many years. And we are trying to do this process on chain. So basically helping landlords to keep a record of all these events which are taking place, over the maybe 3 years of construction. So that's something that we are going to do via DAO proposals. So that's fine. Then we also integrate with something we call BIM. BIM is a building information model. So it's like a digital twin of real world asset. So we are kind of integrating with that digital twin. And we want to also use AI to help on that interaction. So let's say being able to talk to that digital twin, it would be like the first time a person could actually talk to the asset itself and kind of knowing more about the state of development, maybe a cost, maybe engineering part. So it's like you have that information about a real world asset under development over the entire process, and the history. So for the project like ours, how we should see WAVS. So let me think, like, is it a technology that project like ours should look also to kind of leverage? Is it useful for us? If yes, in which sense? And then, what we are gaining on top, and try to kind of give like an examples, like real examples, how this type of technology will be actually beneficial, for businesses, for customers, who would be the customer. So can you unpack this a little bit?
Definitely, definitely. So I'll focus on this real use case you have. Thank you for bringing it up. I see two big areas in which Waves could enhance the experience significantly. The first is creating a digital twin, right? Basically, bringing verifiable real-world asset information from off-chain on-chain, right? How you do that. And the second is the governance process of it and how to automate governance in a way that's not so heavy as DAO. Jake is the father of DAO, and he is like, this is like miles beyond anything they ever dreamed of, right? So the first thing is, when the digital twin, if it is the landlord writing information on there, that is, well, you're trusting him, right? You kind of are. But imagine there's an API, I assume, in Greece, of who owns the land, right? Maybe there are some APIs that will allow you to, or verifiable sites that will see the page, right? So if there's any website out there that can provide, like, government information to own the land, have they made this thing? Have they done this? Do they have permits, right? The permits is public information, right? Assuming there's an API that shows up public information, you can have an agent that checks it, right? And it can check the state of that permit. Maybe it'll check the state of the permit every day and say, okay, they got the permit. The permit is wait pending. Oh, the permit's made. Great. We know the permit's made. Oh, the permit got rejected. What happened here, right? And it can flag that on chain. It can write on chain, and you'll have, a few dozen different operators all check that thing, and they all say, hey, yep, it changed. And they then verify it with slashable penalties that lie, and they write that on chain. That's better than one person putting on chain. I think the big part of real world assets is the verifiability of the digital twins, making sure those always stay in sync with the real world. And this is not just one time Oracle. It's like we can watch things pretty cheaply, watch things off chain and make custom oracles just for this, I don't know, the Athens municipal land registry or building permit thing. We can make, whip one out in, an hour or two. We currently have things we can vibe code them with Claude code. Components are typically around 100 lines of Rust code. We also support Go and JavaScript right now. I think Go is pretty well supported. JavaScript is a bit. We're looking at Python as well. All these languages, we can write anything. And so currently, Rust is the one we started with, it's best developed. Reese is working this project, you might know from, Strangelove and Juno and stuff. So he loves Go. We have a pretty good Go experience writing components in Go as well. Now, you can write that thing, you can vibe code it. If you know Cosmosm, you can vibe code a component that does, request the building site, you give the URLs, it does that stuff. You vibe code it pretty quickly, launch it up there, and it will then be triggered to go every so often, or when on-chain action happens, do that thing and write the data on-chain. So I think we can do that right now pretty easily and make it very, very easy to make custom oracles. That's a huge lift here for any real-world asset project.
Ethan, yeah, that was amazing what you just explained. Actually, you mentioned one of the aspects that come to the mind of the person who is thinking about the real estate tokenization. Yeah, like how to verify this physical world of certain events with things that you have on chain. Yeah, and obviously, in case of DAODISEO, we decided to have like a structure of the companies that are living in the real world as well. So, we are not existing only on chain, let's say, but also in real life. So the structure would be that each of the developments is independent SPV. So independent special purpose vehicle, for this pilot development that we have one legal entity, special purpose vehicle. But of course, when the new development will come, let's say that we will start maybe, we buy the plot in Zanzibar, let's say, and we make another development. So of course, because different jurisdiction, et cetera, you need to have independent legal entity, therefore independent SPV. And this entity is the one who is, owning the plots and owning the development, and that information is in registry. Now, if we have ability to provide that oracle via official pages, in this case in Greece, which I think is a case, definitely I would love to bring that into, let's say, into our process. And is it something that, like what we would need in terms of technology on top of what we have in order to enjoy cases like these, or functionalities like these? What would we need?
You wouldn't need too much. Like I said, the Oracle is a very small component. They live mainly off-chain. But in WASM, you'd only need like a small contract on-chain to verify it. So we are working in basically syncing the validator set, the operator set from EigenLayer to other EVM chains. We're working on getting a Cosmos chain. We're not ready yet, like I said. We're putting EVM first because that seems like a lot more buzz, a lot more market right now. And yeah, well, more people to pay us for our work. It's a bit of a shame that no one can pay for Cosmos. It's I left it a bit ago, but it seems to be falling apart. So not falling apart, but like underfunded, let's say. So really, for funding again, Cosmos is close to our hearts. We're doing that when we can, but until there's funding proposal, we're putting EVM. Once we have that, we'll build that out. We will build out basically syncs so you can sync into Cosmos chain. And at that point, you write like one smart contract that says, verify the signatures, parse the data, and then do what you want with it. It's not very much. It's very lightweight. It allows you to write a very lightweight contract, receive it, and a very lightweight thing off-chain, parse it. And all the rest of this stuff of, listening to all the events and aggregating the events and aggregating the signatures and, syncing the validator set, the light client proofs, as, basically is all handled by the infrastructure. So you don't have to think about it. Just the packet. So yeah, it should be very easy to integrate. Once you have, once you said, like if you have an API server in the country you know about, you can add it, and then have one contract is to receive the information and then sync it however you want to on your contracts. The simple Cosmos should handle it. We have very simple Split contracts right now. They're like, I don't know, 6 lines of code for the function that actually handles the data, right? There's a little boilerplate and then 6 lines of actual core function. And the same way, it should be a very simple Cosmos contract to handle them.
Very, very interesting. And Ethan, like how like for a person like myself, like how to get in touch with you guys, like how to organize eventual development or kind of pilot piece that we might we might decide to experiment with. And the case of verifying actually registry is one of the I think easy case because for sure it would be very nice to have it. So I mean, it's a logical type of information that anyone would like to have in our case. So definitely, decision is there in a sense that is something that is needed. Now, how to establish now like communication with you and organize ourselves a little bit in terms of maybe additional conversation. Of course, there is some research, let's say, from our side, because it would be nice if we find all the like official pages from Greece, let's say, that we would like to use as a source of information. Yeah, and that's something that maybe we could do, and then provide these, let's say, to you. But how we could work together? How this would work? Explain a little bit if you can.
Definitely. Okay, how do we work it? First of all, I'm running the CTO and engineering stuff. Jake is really the outreach marketing partnership guy. So if you know Jake Hartnell, ping him. We also have a dev chat on Telegram get involved in. Probably link to our website. If you want to just mess around with it, there's a docs page, docs.waves.xyz, right? So you link from here. An example how to build stuff out. It's all based around, again, running Ethereum locally, and then we have testnet on Hellesky. So really heavily on Ethereum. You go to Cosmos, what happens is look at it, try it out, think about it, dig into it. You want to do it. We are open for that. I had a talk with some people from Noland at the conference at was the Protocol Bear. Protocol Bear, really cool conference. Anyway, they were kind of interested in having this off-chain compute thing, right? So we're happy to work with anyone, but we need contracts. I've done that so much with Cosmos, and we helped everyone. This did forever. So right now, I think getting interested there, but really gathering together a few people. So like, if there's one Cosmos project, it's quite a lift for us to support Cosmos chains. We want to, right? It's hard to justify that if there's one project. If you have like 4 or 5 projects, so interested in building on it, that might be willing to contract something out or have some deals with us. We say, great, we'll build infrastructure to support Cosmos very well. It's close to our heart. We want to do it, but we need to justify ourselves. We're a small startup. We're trying to get the funds. We're trying to get off the ground. We have like 13 people here, and I think so. We would love to do that, and I think the best thing is play around it, look at it, get the concept. Say, hey, I could build this stuff. Try building a component, buy a prototype component, right? Say, hey, build a component. Oh, that's how they can work. That's awesome. And if you get a few people from this call in Cosmos space, they're interested in doing this, and you say, I'd love to have a Cosmos chain, and we can make some stuff here. So I think I wouldn't want to dip on you guys. Hey, pay us to put the Cosmos. We have 4 or 5 people that say, hey, we'll pay you a little consulting fees to help with our project. But we need Cosmosm to be able to do all that. We'll do the Cosmosm work so that we can support all these projects. Our model is basically to charge to help people build their stuff, right? So we give you the tools, but that's a lot of, we don't give you the SDK and say good luck. We say, we'll do it and we'll walk with you. We'll either build it for you or with you. We'll go along the way to make sure you launch your project, you're happy, all works great, right? We want this thing to work well for you. So we're going to go and try to make deals, and they're smaller, big deals. Depends how much work it is. If we're working with Ether, if we're working with your project which has a building, which is cool, right? That's probably not as big as a giant restaking protocol. So we're make any kind of deals, but we really want to make it so there's a back and forth. It's not just giving and not getting. It's a deal. So we help people succeed, and they help us. And if we see a group of people on the same use case, we build all the fundamental stuff. We build all the core tech from our own time. We build the core tech to allow us to build these use cases. So yeah, I say that try it out, get the word on Cosmos, and if you guys like it, we'd love to support Cosmos. It's all our hearts, but it's been a really, really hard time to get any money to build any infrastructure in Cosmos.
Yeah, Ethan, actually, I perfectly understand. And, last years, as you said, were very, very difficult for everyone. And of course, on Cosmos, we were suffering, a lot. Maybe I would like to just also add this idea here that in our case, in DAODISEO, we are supported by the traditional business itself. So the idea here is that indeed there are the plots. Indeed we are making a design and we are getting permits, and then at some point we are going to finance ourselves and build. By the way, from my perspective, very important that our asset is fully paid. So we don't have like a mortgage on the asset, so it's like a pristine asset. And there is 20,000 square meters of these land there. So the value is around $1 million now. So, our starting point is like a real business and real asset. Yeah. So our intention now is to go via stream swap. In fact, the stream swap team was so kind that they, confirmed that we are a good candidate to actually, make a price discovery there. I guess from there, we are hoping to get some pounds and then use those pounds. And, I can't imagine better way of spending them than with Ethan and the company, because you guys actually, you did the technology that we are leveraging. So you guys, there are no better person to do that. So I would be very glad, very happy to, continue this. Just maybe give me a feedback, is it a good idea, the path that I am describing for, for the startup like ours? Do you think that we kind of selected correctly DAO and, now stream swap, and then what else we could do, because at the end, of course, we will need some liquidity to start building, yeah, in one hand, but also for technology. So far, we were able to kind of finance ourselves. And thanks to that, we have a running blockchain on testnet with 50 validators running. Some of the validators, I would say, well known. Polka2, for instance, or Leonor Crypto, Chain Tools. We have some nice guys. And then we were able to make DAO, yeah. And on top of this, we have a little bit of application already written with some smart contracts on top. Is very important for us, extremely important to make that part of interface, like a user interface for the proposals for this entire life cycle of the real world asset. So, from the inception, from the idea and through these 5 phases, you maybe have like a 200 or 250 proposals, and each proposal is a little bit different. Is a proposal, for some specific area during the development. Yeah. So that interface is something that does not exist because in DAO, you just have like a simple interface where all the proposals are the same. Here, what we need is like a template, for each of the proposals because they are different. In principle, DAO team told us that they already have like functionality that is linking the proposal with a specific HTML page, which is already good, yeah, because then on that page we could like a build template, and we would have different templates, for different events during this development. So what do you think about all these? And are we going right direction? Do you have any advice for us? And hopefully we will get some financing as well. So then we could build our relationship. Yeah, tell us a little bit about this, please.
Okay, I have 3 answers for you. The first is I know nothing about building and development of land and real estate. I think it's wonderful you're doing that. You're making real world assets. I know that you can use Oracle, basically type stuff and tie it, on the blockchain, but I cannot give you any advice at all about how to deal with permits and raising money and dealing with building process in Greece. So, or how to put on a blockchain. I have no idea. The second one, the DAO stuff. It sounds good. I think you should really get Jake Hartnell on here for another call. Give him like a few weeks, maybe a month. He's going to blow your mind, the next level governance stuff. DAO is great what it is now. The multiple things and dealing with lots of people. We have like ideas of AI agents off interacting with your preferences. You put your preferences off chain. AI agents will look at the preferences, review the preferences, review the proposal, and vote on it automatically. So you don't have to read every single thing. DAO is great, but it involves everyone reading everything and voting everything. It's a fucking headache. But if you say, hey, these are my preferences, and AI agent can vote for me, and not just randomly, it runs verifiably. So we have the operators doing it, so it's actually guaranteed to run correctly, as not as a backdoor. And we can use, your personal preferences based on the AI agents and networks and graph and trust graph, liquid democracy, what you want. He's building next level things he calls cybernetic organisms, right? Which are basically human AI decision making processes. I'm just teasing it now. You really should talk to Jake Hartnell. He can do a far, far better job than me on that. But it's next level stuff. Like you look at DAO as trading wheels. I look at Cosmos and bring it to the next level. He thinks DAO to the next level. So really bring everything to the next level here. What you're doing now is great with the best tech you have. You can look at him to see what he can bring it to the next level later on with all the prototypes. And the third thing I want to say, and that's really what I dig into, is I think it's great to use DAO. I think it is probably the best DAO tooling out there. It allows lots of things. I think big smart contracts for this and track the real assets and be flexible to do that. That's wonderful. I think launching on chain might be premature, right? So do you need to launch on chain or can you run someone else's chain? It's not that much feed. In Cosmos, the fees are pretty small at a lot of places. You can probably run your project on someone else's chain, right? So if you can run your project on someone else's chain, it's a lot easier. Just use that. That said, the best thing is to run your project on everyone's chain, right? And that's what we offer you. Is basically, so if you can run your smart contract, I don't know the hot stuff Neutron, let's say, right? Instead of launching on chain, it's a lot easier, right? But then you want to integrate with, maybe you want to take money from, Ethereum money, and maybe you want to go into lending pool and Arbitrum, and maybe you want to actually allow Bitcoin from Babylon, and all that to pay for your stuff, and you could swap it on osmosis, and then you have to pick which chain you want to go on because you have all these chains, right? So what I would say is with CosmWasm, from don't launch your own chain, just run contracts from us chain. It's a lot easier to do it, lots less overhead. But then you have to pick which chain, right? So rather than doing that, now you can launch in every chain. Our operators run in every chain, basically. They are running off chain, but they talk to every chain. They're like an EOA that talks to every chain verifiably. And in this case, I think it's a huge paradigm break, right? The way you went from Cosmos SDK for an app chain to CosmWasm as contracts, right? You can run at a high level. You can run this and get a higher level, right? A few contracts and bridges, IBC is primitive. I basically made a first invention of IBC. I had a lot of feedback with IBC team, the current thing. I criticized a lot of things being overly complex, overly engineered, not focused on use cases. I had ICA demos. I was adding things. I added some ages ago, but everyone is very, very abstract and not really use cases. I took all those use cases, I saw the pain points, and this new protocol basically breaks them all. And I want to pitch a little bit about one example of why I say if you want multi-chain, don't even do IBC anymore, right? Unless you, usually I would say use CosmWasm, not Cosmos Decay, unless you need that level of control. If you need that level of control and capacity, do it. But if you're a smaller project, use CosmWasm. Now, I think there's few places, if we're rolling out our multi EVM stuff, we don't have Cosmos yet, we're rolling multi-chain. The idea of being able to process off-chain, relayers trustably is a mind blow. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you want to move money between Neutron, Arbitrum, Base, and Ethereum, right? So now, if you send money from one to another over a bridge and then another, let's say you go from Ethereum to Arbitrum to Babylon, right? And then you want to send it back to Ethereum, you have to unwind it by 2 trends. Except in ours, every time you can track them all. And so basically off-chain in these operators, they track everyone's balance everywhere. So you can send, from Ethereum to Arbitrum to Babylon back to Ethereum, and it's not a triple wrapped asset, it's unwrapped because we unwrap all those things. One of the hardest parts of IBC20 is unwrapping multiple hops, right? We don't need multiple hops because effectively we have a computational engine between every hop that allows you to talk to any chain at once. And this is like the level of mind-blowing stuff we have out there. And this is like our demos right now are basically just the better bridge of IBC, allowing the technology to run off-chain, not in this complex on-chain protocols. So I think I would say the same way I can get people, if you're writing an application, focus on CosmWasm, not Cosmos Decay, unless you need really to run 100 applications. Unless you want to be your application based, use your application at CosmWasm. Same here, if you're doing multi-chain, don't run IBC. Use these operators. You can get much, much higher level, easy functionality there.
Wow, that's something, something in one hand very enlightening, in the other hand a little bit disturbing. Ethan, as you can imagine, in our mind, we are certainly at the beginning, right? So the one thing is that we are a young project still, and I think thinking about DAODISEO, like maybe 60% of DAODISEO is happening off-chain, so it's a traditional business of building actually villas. We need to build villas, so it's a kind of reality on the ground, and this traditional part of whatever you do, and then this 40% maybe, which is technology, and how this technology could actually help this real business to be more efficient. That's the way we approach this. And for us as let's say developers of real estate, even having a blockchain, in a sense, is already a value on its own, right? Because only the fact that we can actually have a traceability of entire process is immediately introducing some operational benefits. And the whole idea was that this SPV, that in the traditional world would be kind of quite complex, because you need to manage this legal entity. So instead of that, we wanted to have it on chain, therefore very light in terms of management of it. SPV could be managed by multi-sig wallets and several people around the world, from their location. So as I said, the blockchain itself is a value. The fact that of traceability is a value of its own. And then the next thing that came to our mind is really these some connections with the Cosmos ecosystem that we will indeed need. Like one example is a stable coin. Because we are real business, so we need a connection with the stable coin, and that will be one project. And we assume that that connection will happen via IBC. Yeah, like it was natural to think that probably it will happen like that. And then maybe we will in the future we will have some more serious project in mortgage brokers. So maybe we will need to connect to them as well. But I am not envisioning like 25 being connected with the 25 projects, right? But probably some of the projects in Cosmos that could be like useful to the entire ecosystem of the DAODISEO. And definitely we have Cosmos as a place where we are going to program our smart contracts. So let's say, if we want to make a contract of buying, let's say, one of the assets with payment plan. So, so that example that I just mentioned would be on Cosmos, definitely, yeah. And then you have this component of building information model, so digital twin, yeah. And digital twin, in this sense, in one hand, has this functionality of database where you digital twin sits, and that's something that is resolved by Beam itself, like by Beam server. So there is independent, kind of independent, I would say, application, yeah, that is solving this. So that's a little bit our, ecosystem. I see that off-chain elements, which we will have probably a lot. You mentioned at some point, one, but I am definitely envisioning more than one, a probably large list of things that could or would need to be verified off-chain and connected to our ecosystem. So, which makes me think that WAVS could be interesting for us. So I'm not sure with this input if you want to add anything, to our previous reflections.
Okay. Yeah, it's very stacked. I'm gonna throw a hot take out here, which is I wouldn't launch on Cosmos. I don't say I wouldn't ever use Cosmos. I would not. I'm not saying don't use anything from Cosmos. I wouldn't launch on Cosmos, right? Because it's a pain to onboard people. It's hard enough to onboard people on crypto. Onboarding on Cosmos is even harder. You're working with normal people. Saying you send USDC here, they have an Ethereum USDC, right? And I think you think about an interface. You do anything in the hood, but you don't want to expose to them. So now if you say, hey, you can deposit into this contract on this address on Ethereum USDC, boom, you now have minted these shares which are controlled by you, and you can now see them, and maybe those shares are tracked off chain, right? Maybe they're tracked on Cosmos contract somewhere too, right? Maybe your digital twin is on Cosmos contracts tracking them behind the scenes. Some is verifiable off chain, right? You can do what you want there. You can use the best tool for the job. I think DAO is a great tool for the job, but like you're also gonna have them just like send a signed message with their ETH wallet anyway, and then use that for the votes. Tally them up in AVS and then submit the answer in the DAO. So I think you can say for onboarding people, making people get onto Cosmos is a huge hurdle. So if you want to get a lot of these people, say, hey, deposit Bitcoin here, deposit Ethereum here, and look, you see your stuff on the dashboard, and then allow them to redeem it by signing with their MetaMask wallet, something that then eventually redeem whatever they want to redeem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can look at where they are. Underlying the hood, DAO is levels beyond any sort of DAO software on Ethereum, right? It's some of the best tech. You can have levels more data and queries, and you can actually build digital twins on Cosmos contracts. You cannot build Ethereum. That's great. Use that. Leverage that, right? Build stuff off-chain. Launches LLMs off-chain. Leverage that, right? The app is not on Cosmos. The app, the users will see, oh, I go to Ethereum and do this. I go to Coinbase, hit withdraw, and send money to this address from Coinbase, right? And suddenly you give them a new withdrawal address, right? And they do that. And suddenly they have their shares minted in their UI and they see it, right? And then they can vote with their MetaMask wallet to do something else. And they see this stuff, and that's awesome, right? Like that level of ease for onboarders to get on there, that's what they see. And they see it's an Ethereum app, but behind the scenes, you have all the verifiability happening actually in the cosmos running on, some blockchain, And I think
Hi.
that
Yeah.
that's huge. And I think it's like, oh, I need to fix one change from an app is wrong. And then like it forces you because maybe the one that can handle compute is not the one that can handle your finances, right? And maybe you have four different ones where people want to deposit money, and three other ones that have protocols you're going to integrate with, and this one we want to keep your main database on, and use them all. Use them all. Just don't focus on the Cosmos because Cosmos, I think it screwed up heavily. It's a beautiful idea. I mean, I had the white paper in 2016. I think Jay Connell was a genius. He was like 5 to 8 years ahead of everyone else, right? In 2016, he had Byzantine fault proof of stake, years before Ethereum, when they were still trying to figure out what that meant, even, right? He had the multi-chain CGIS, the app chain CGIS, which is now de facto, L2s, L3s, connections, bridges, right? And Litecoin proofs, IBC, which is better bridges than anyone has. They're kind of, trying to get now. So everything that most of these big ecosystems are trying to get now, he had designed in 2016, saw they're needed. They realized like in 2022, 2023, oh, we do need this stuff, right? 23 maybe, right? So this is like, he had written a white paper stuff 7 years before people even realize they need this shit, right? So like, this is genius level stuff. But then the ecosystem never came together, never built it up, never did a BD, never got the real users, they got early users, and it stays fighting themselves. All these fucking projects fought themselves instead of collaborating. We need a name service. So finally something about name service. And then instead of that, we have 4 different name services fighting about it, and no one is getting any wallets, every different just name service. Like, what the hell, guys? It is not just pick a name service. I don't give a shit with name service. Pick a name service, and if you're using it, great. Thank you for building one. Let's all use it and we're all happy, right? So the fact that everyone's fighting and their own turf wars and not actually putting users, but focusing biggest fish in a small pond, I think left Cosmos a small pond, right? It's a shame. And the best ideas, the best devs, and basically you couldn't actually make any money off it. No one could launch a product. Running a DeFi product with 50 million TVL, you go broke. Same product with 5 billion TVL, you make a fortune, right? It's 100 times more. Obviously, you take 0.1% off that, and it's a lot more. So I think this infighting and this struggling in Cosmos just killed it. So I think the best tech, the best ideas, the best developers, the best researchers, many of them are in Cosmos. Not all, but many of them are in Cosmos. It was, and it still is, some of the most fertile ground. And I love the thinking there. I go over there, I'm just like pulling my hair sometimes, looking at the level of Solidity code. I'm like, oh my God, this is pain. But you go out there and you see hundreds of funded companies doing something, all looking at standards, working together with standards, figuring out how to integrate each other and all that. And you're like, dude, well, you have to bite the bullet and take this crap tech to deal with all that. Fine, right? I'll do it. I really resisted it. I got pulled into it. And the way I'm doing it is use everything, use every chain. Waves can build every chain. We can take the stuff from Ethereum and use that, take them from Cosmos and use that, take the stuff from Solana and use that. Use them all. We use them all. We run on them. They're just, they're just commodities. The blockchains become commodities to us, right? And we're building apps. We can leverage it all. We can leverage the best technology for the job, where the best community is, where the best funding is, and where the best, use them all. And so that's my little rant here. I think it's wonderful to use DAO, wonderful to use contract when you want to have heavy data, complex math, complex stuff. It's the best technology there. Secure bridges, but like if you're trying to get funded, just to take USDC. I mean, easy. Integrate with Base, stuff like that. Just look for where people are. If not in Bitcoin, let it be Bitcoin. Don't make it do 5 steps. And you can do the 5 steps behind the scenes. They send that during the address, and you can trigger 5 steps behind the scenes with your Waves automated, verifiable app that does it all off chain. And then in Oracle, verifiably off chain, and then write the result onto your blockchain. Do them all. It's wonderful. But yeah, I really, it's a shame. It's a sad shame. I mean, I dedicated so many years of my life, starting 2016, building on Tenement. Obviously, I love the technology. I love many people from the ecosystem, but the infighting, the BD, the whatever it is, it just killed it. I mean, the fact that ICF can't even figure out how to pay for anything anymore, and kind of like just like I don't know what hell happened there. We can go a whole episode and try and explain what happened. Interchain Labs, which seemed like it was just like a dump site now, honestly. So anyway, But yeah, it's a shame what happened to Cosmos. Use the tech you can, and use other tech when it's better.
Thank you so much for all this wisdom. It's incredibly valuable. Like I'm impacted actually by what you are saying, and some of the elements that you introduced actually will be definitely taken in consideration, yeah, when moving forward, DAODISEO, yeah. It's hard, obviously any business is hard to do, right? So that's the reality on the ground. And of course, what is important also not to die. I am always saying like, how to make next year, and not to die on the attempt. Yeah, of course, especially in our industry, we see like hundreds and hundreds of projects with the great ideas, and that's very abstract sometimes. And then like a year later or 2 years later, the project does not exist anymore, and stuff like that. Yeah. So in our case, because we have this like a real world component, let me say. So for us, like no matter what, we need to build. Like we are going to build the villas, yes or yes, yeah. And the question only will be like which elements of the technology are useful for us, how far we should go, right? And yeah, and not making heavy mistakes on the way. So what you said about kind of thinking about putting some of the components, let's say, on the other chains, or you are saying like all the chains, yeah, like you speak about this like all the chains, because you are speaking about this layer that is kind of place or which allow you to speak with and make that level of abstraction from the underlying technology, which definitely is beneficial, right? So yeah, thank you for all these. I don't know if we have in the call someone who wants to make a question to Ethan. The level of sophistication, I must say, Ethan, with you is very high. But I hope, I hope that someone actually might have some question.
Yes. You see, the smart contract, the people are just afraid of them because look how many millions or billions people lost in smart contract. What's the second question? What do you think? How do you see blockchains in the future? Is that going to be 100,000 different blockchains? Are they going to be separated and bridging into each other, or they will communicate direct, or what do you think?
The second question is, are there going to be many blockchains? The first question was smart contract hacks and security. Can you please explain that?
Yes. You see, the people are afraid of smart contracts. All the bridges and all the smart, it is a smart contract. It's easy to hack it. It's easy to block it. And it's easy to just lose all the money. Like, so the people are afraid of them. Is that fixable?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, you better smart contracts. I think there are a lot of people that let very insecure stuff, and just on Ethereum especially. I think Cosmos Wasm tried to say, hey, let's make it better. Let's make a secure platform, right? I don't know. Terra went through and it crashed, right? It built on Cosmos Wasm. I mean, maybe not the best example, but it was. And you can say that they crashed the economic design issue, right? The designer wrote it, but no one hacked the smart contract and stole billions on it. It was worth billions. No one came in and rugged any of those protocols, right? Which was like different than Ethereum at the time, right? It's pretty impressive actually, because it was actually a lot of money being grabbed, and they couldn't hack the smart contracts. So they did some crazy like $1 billion Bitcoin rebasing. I don't know what they're doing, like manipulation of markets to crash it, right? Billions and billions of dollars to crash it rather than some hack. So they couldn't hack it, which I think is pretty impressive. I've seen some bugs. I've not seen major hacks on Cosmos contracts. I'm sure there's something. Someone pull it out. But I think stuff like that is why I dedicate Cosmos to make it more secure. With it was testable from ground up, and all the design ideas of how to make it more secure we're bringing into WAVS, verifiable apps, dApps, and people that if we have a context of making a secure toolkit that provide more security by default, and better testing and better QA on it, then hopefully people's reputation of dApps and verifiable apps for building, not dApps, VApps, will be better because of that. But yes, if you have a lot of people using a JavaScript to do financial instruments, and have fresh out college kids hacking as fast as they can to launch the production. Yeah, of course they hack. So that's my take on it. People should take a little time to design it better, and a lot of the early ones are well thought out. Were not hacked, right? If you look at early stuff out there, Uniswap and Balancer and Curve and Compound and Aave, that stuff wasn't really hacked, right? And it was turned into the stuff that was rushed out the door that was hacked. I see the future of, it depends. A lot of people are doing it. So some places just want to do a meme coin. I don't care if it's hacked. They're trying to pump and dump it anyway, right? And then people building real apps like, Freeman here with his thing that makes sure that it's going to last for 5 years and not be hacked. It takes 5 years for this thing to get through production, and it can't shut down the chain and do it. It's not pump it up. It's a long-term design. And so as people go through long-term things, they'll focus on it, and we'll have a break-in ecosystem, ones that actually care about long-term, and the meme coin pumper and dumpers, right? And so they'll be there. So I think we need to separate it and rename stuff, right? Crypto is everything. So we should, name real world crypto, maybe something of the ones that are actually saying we want to have, security and long termness, and we care about that, and not just turning a quick profit in 1 month. We want 10x over 5 years, not 1,000x in 1 month. So, 10x over 5 years is fucking good if you can do that, right? That's amazing. Yeah. But you can do that with a good plan and some luck and skill. You can do that with real world assets and not just Ponzi's. So we need to separate ourselves from the Ponzi's. I think that's the first thing. And the second, I don't know. I think there'll be 100,000 blockchains. I think the idea you don't need so many blockchains. I think people will do special purpose blockchains because of gas costs. We'll need some of them. But I think the idea is I really hope a new class and like what these apps are doing. We're running WAVS. It's not a chain. It's kind of like option oracles, and we can launch a meta chain with them, and you can actually have multiple meta chains to tie all the chains together, right? We're launching meta chains. I think that's the new blockchain because it allows you to use all the existing blockchains, all of them, and Web2 stuff all at once. And you say, hey, it works with everything, right? It can read from you talk to LLMs, it can read from the land registry, it can read from Bitcoin, it can write to Ethereum, it can write to Cosmos, right? Like that's where we're going. It's not there yet, all those things I'm mentioning, right? That's maybe 6 months out that we've got all those working. We're focusing on EVM first. But yeah, we're doing all that stuff in the meta chain. Is like there's logic in the meta chain, and you can do other levels of testing on it, and there's small components you can test. So I don't think that people need new blockchains all the time if they can do more and more stuff in the meta chain. So it's just, we're launching that as a new category. There will be some needed for, the corporate private blockchains right here, special purpose blockchains over there. But some of these blockchains out there, like Sui, like Solana, they're so fast. I mean, what? You need 2 Solanas, 3 Solanas, they're carrying the same amounts of transactions. You don't need that many of them, right? A lot of the new blockchains, because they're trying to, monetize something or whatever else, or they're trying to, lower gas fees. But, with the meta chain, you don't even need a blockchain. You can do verifiable compute with minimal gas fees and use every chain rather than just fragment it more. So I think hundreds, thousands of used blockchains you can mention, but you don't need millions.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ethan. We are actually approaching an hour. It's like 8 p.m. I want to respect also your time. And thank you once again. Do we have anything that we would like to kind of say at the end? I was thinking, Ethan, if you don't mind, a kind of last question that came to my mind. Who are you competitors with that idea of Wave, right? Because, I started feeling that we are creating like industry tools. Yeah, so it would probably be organized by industry because let's say, maybe chemicals, oil and gas, fast moving goods, all real estate, all these businesses will need like a slightly different things. And, your idea of waste seems to me at the very high level, maybe at that level of industry. Yeah. So who are you competitors? Like how you want to position these in the market? Like, people will be comparing these with what?
There's no real competitors on my multi-chain vision, Jake's, hyper-petitioning, self-organizing governance. There's like, we're doing stuff that no one's even figured out, right? The same way that Cosmos is way ahead of everyone back in 2016. What our vision is way beyond what everyone else has figured out, right? The real meta chain, like the verifiable logic and outside chains and like what you can do with that, and autonomous, is AI, human, cyborg governance systems running off chain that are able to control funds. Actually, that there's next level shit here. I'm gonna say there is no competitor at that level. On the very practical level, our biggest competitor is Authentic. If you want to run like, an easy AVS off of EigenLayer, you can run Authentic, you can run us, right? Great. So what we can do already today, Centric is more or less, they can do what we can do all today, right? And this is our first step of a roadmap that goes dick, right? And we're speeding along. We have some top devs here. We're going way beyond it. So I say that they are, but I think we want to go really the multi-chain and multi-ecosystem apps, and really the logic in the bridge. Some other, you might say this kind of layer zero type stuff or hyperlane maybe. I don't know exactly, but like, really multi-chain bridging really cheaply and powerfully. We're doing that too as one of the many things we do, right? We do so many things that's there. What I really think our thing is yes, industry. We can optimize industry and bring real world data from Web 2 APIs on chain. We can also optimize DeFi and make it reactive. You can have, agents that listen to everything that is going on, check out the trends, and do trading. You have treasury management by basically an off-chain verifiable compute. They can just watch trades and see, hey, if the price gets, too close to liquidation price here, sell my assets on over there, move it over to make sure I'm liquidate on lending protocol, right? You can all kinds of stuff out there and have it not in the hands of one person, but verifiable and fully reactive and not on chain, not able to be inspected by because it's hard to hack because it's actually, you decided to launch it on these people. They run it and they don't even know what your logic is. They see the WASM log, right? They don't even know your full logic. So I think it allows you to do all kinds of next level stuff, right? In DeFi, in governance space, they could go all of that. In bridging stuff, technology, in pulling Web 2 real world assets on chain, of tying LLMs and blockchain together. So all this stuff we'll talk about doing, we can do it all, right? We've designed it for there. Like I said, we support Ethereum really well now. We support LLMs right now. We're working on demoing. Within the next 3 months, we'll have a good governance good use case, a DeFi use case, and a bridge use case, right? These are all being, built on our stuff on the current stack. So yeah, it's all coming out there, and I think all just like everything you wish you had from IBC, the image, got the commercial, you saw the trailer, you're like, this is gonna be awesome, and then like, dude, the movie, like, it's cool, but it's a bit long. I thought like the French movie, the director's cut, dude, like it could be a little more like a little more flashy, like really well thought out, but like just get me the shit working, right? And so we are the thing you thought you saw, right? When you saw the trailer for IBC of just all the chains. And it's beyond like, oh, chains can talk to each other. No, your app runs on every chain and off chain. So I think that's really we're going to. And no one does that. No one really got it. They're all doing these little pieces towards it. And they, oh, I did this little step. Look how cool it is. Give me 10 million. And we're like, dude, we're doing that, right? So we got a seed round a year ago. We're still funded. We got money. It's good. We're, doing more raises, trying to get some more money into this thing to really hypercharge it. And really get an ecosystem built out, really get these people products built on this. Our devs are kicking it. We have some top devs from the Cosmos space. We're getting pulling some Ethereum devs into it now. Yeah, it's a really cool stuff, and I'm really excited to be there.
And by the way, Ethan, do we have a token behind that? Are you going to kind of make this public? And so what token is that? That's first question. And the second question is, if I want to learn a little bit this technology, can I go directly here to the docs, like in your website, go into the docs and just learning from here, about this technology? Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. So first of all, we don't have a token yet. There may well be one, but that's not the current. There's lots of plans out here, let's say, right? And so it depends which product you build, which products you build partner. Some of it is, we partner with people. So, if we help amazing product do amazing stuff, they have a token anyway, right? They just give us a cut and they give us some payment, and that's good, right? We don't need to launch our own token for launching a token. We launch a token when there's a value for it. But right now, we're really focusing on launching stuff, and that will come if it's needed, if it makes sense. And the docs, yes, please go to those docs, click them. We spent a lot of time on those docs, a lot of energy on those docs, make them accessible, read the overview, understand the ideas. We have a blog on there too on WAVS site. The blog explains really the high-level concepts. This goes to the components and the technical concept, and then it goes to a tutorial walking through and creating apps. So all of this is done there. We spent a lot of effort trying to make this as pretty as possible. There should be a Telegram link. We have a Telegram group. If you're a dev, jump in. We have a dev chat. We support people. And we'd love to have you on a dev chat if you have questions and come into it. Right now, we're at the Eigenlayer Hacker House. We are there today. We're there this week with about 10 different teams building, off-chain verifiable compute on Ethereum, and we're helping a number of projects with a lot of cool ideas. So, We got like 4 or 5 different projects that want, to build our stuff. So that's what we're doing now. We're really getting people building on our stuff. And yeah, if you want to come in, join in, we're happy to help you launch your stuff. It should be self-service technology, but yeah, go for it. And if you have any questions, jump in and say, hey, this doc makes sense to me, Oh, of course, you're coming from a different angle, right? So please give us feedback so we can make the best doc possible.
Superb. I really enjoyed this time talking to you. It was amazing. Thanks a lot. Enjoy your evening, and thank you.
Thank you very much for having me here.